Good morning.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah,
I can't pull one over your eyes.
I'm not that out of it right now. I'm not that
Yeah,
distracted.
I'm kind of tired. Yeah, it's like after 10 at night. That's
Yeah.
bananas.
Is your child asleep?
Yeah, actually, he went to sleep just a little while ago, and I came into my computer and was looking at some GDC videos, and then it turns out that he woke up and went into our bedroom and laid down in our bed.
Like in your absence?
Yeah,
Awesome. Okay.
so then I had to put him back to his bed.
Hmm. Well, as long as it wasn't a kicking, screaming fight, that's nice.
Yeah, no, he was completely chill about the whole thing.
Wow. Cool.
Uh, I'm surprised he just climbed into ours and didn't like throw a tantrum or something when he realized that nobody was there except him.
Uh, yeah. Well, that's a move in the right direction. It sounds like you guys were having a hard time previously dealing with the whole sleeping thing.
Yeah. It's been hit and miss. I've been able to get him to go down pretty easy these days.
Yeah.
Uh,
We've been, I guess, hit and miss too, but just like it's like kind of over periods. Like there'll be, I don't know, 3 weeks of hit and then like a month of miss kind of thing.
yeah.
And we've been missing quite a bit for quite a while. So
So other than putting babies to sleep, what have you been up to?
well, as you know, I've had the big job change, which has been an
Yeah.
adjustment. I wouldn't call it stressful. I would call it um, all encompassing or something. Like I go home and there's still a lot to do. There's still a lot to figure
Yeah.
out. There's still a lot going on. So it's been a very positive experience. And surprisingly, in amidst that, I've actually gotten some game time in, which I'm part of the reason is because I'm taking a shuttle again. I'm not driving,
Right.
which was always previously in my older jobs like a great chance for me to play games and do stuff. And it's been a
Yeah,
while
yeah.
since I've been taking a shuttle, but I've adjusted very quickly, very nicely. So I'm continuing to play Hotel Dusk, which is a game I'd mentioned previously.
Yeah.
Uh, that's kind of my main, I guess, game related thing I'm doing, which is has been great because considering, like I say, I'm kind of busy with some stuff. It's a really chill game. You can just kind of get in and get out. It's not like you get stressed out because something's really hard, and it's what I need right now. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, mainly that. I haven't really played much FTL at all. I just kind of haven't been in the place to do it. I guess like I haven't been in front of my main computer,
Right.
and I haven't been playing it on my work computer or anything. Yeah, that was a lot of sentences to describe one very small thing. Basically, I've been playing Hotel Dusk, and it's fun to be playing DS again too. I like DS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. It's
it's I always like Super Nintendo kind of um, everything. I don't know, like the style, I guess, like obviously the graphics level, but also just the power of those games, kind of, I guess.
yeah.
And so DS is kind of more of a modern Super Nintendo in a way. Like it's the same kind of lower level of graphics, I guess, and power. But
Is it your new Super Famicom styled one or?
I have been using it. Yes. No, not a single
Nice.
person has said, "Hey, that's awesome," and that makes me very sad.
Odd how that works. I mean, I've been playing my PSP on public transit, and not a single person has been like, "Hey, nice PSP."
Well, maybe this is like super obvious for everybody else, and it's me that has to wrap my head around it. But I've noticed that obviously, if you're another like crazy game nerd, or especially like kind of retro game nerd, like when two of those people meet, it's like yeah. When you are not a retro game nerd, it doesn't interest you at all, like totally zero. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know.
like let's say I was like a bear wrestler or something. Like
Yeah.
if someone said, you know, I'm a bear wrestler. Like even if you've never heard of that, it's not your interest at all. You'd still be like, really? Like what? Tell me about that. That's crazy. Games? Nope. Next topic, right? Like no one cares at all. So, at my
I like that you're comparing playing your DS in public to wrestling a bear.
well, so
They're
so
they're
we
they're
were doing
obviously incredibly comparable.
well. I'm exaggerating a little, but like at the new job, we were doing self introductions. And it was like, say your name, say where you're coming from, and kind of give one crazy fact about yourself. And
Yeah.
I don't know. We had like 2 seconds to prepare, so I didn't have a lot to come up with for a crazy fact. So my crazy fact was, I collect all these old games, and there's just so many. It takes up like a whole room in my house. It's kind of ridiculous. And when we were searching for a new place to live, we had to kind of budget for an extra room to have all these games here, and that's kind of like my wife wasn't very happy with that, and whatever. And no one said anything. I was like, okay, whatever. And then the next person was like, his crazy fact was, I like scuba diving. Everyone's like, oh wow, well, like where? Like what kind of scuba diving? I was like, come on, like everyone likes scuba diving. So, yeah.
Nice.
I'm yet to, I want that one day when someone like is like, oh man, wicked. That's gonna be. I'll talk about it on this podcast.
That'll be your new BFF.
Yeah, well, I'll remember it at least.
Yeah. Nice.
So, yeah, that's kind of where things stand. How about you?
My game plan's actually gone down a little bit. I'm planning on teaching some online stuff at some point this summer. So in an attempt to kind of prepare a curriculum for that, I've been watching GDC videos.
Okay. Are you able to go into any more detail? You're teaching online stuff.
Well, it's not all locked down yet, so it's kind of pointless to spend
Sure.
our entire podcast talking about what may or may not happen. But yeah, no, there's an online site that teaches like visual effects and whatnot, and
So it's not that
they
you're
asked.
okay. It's not that you're teaching online. You are online teaching
Mhm.
visual effects. You're
Yeah,
not teaching like network programming or something.
correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
teaching specifically online VFX, quote unquote.
Sure. Got it.
I'm
Got
quote teaching online.
it. Got it.
Yeah, so I've just been brushing up on kind of what the hot topics are in the industry at the moment, so that I can kind of prepare a curriculum around that, because it's going to be something like close to the 30-hour course.
Oh wow.
So I gotta try to iron out something that's coherent.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been doing that a little bit more in the evenings, and I've also been studying for a potential driver's test when I go in to get my Quebec driver's license. So
You can't port your. I don't even know where your license is these days. You can't port that over to Quebec.
I have no idea. I've heard that it's kind of hit and miss. I've heard that I should just be able to port it over, but also sometimes Quebec is very bureaucratic and likes to charge money and do tests and stuff just because they can. So I've read through the latest driver's manual just in case I have to do a test, but I may not have to do a test.
Have you been
So
driving fairly recently? I think you have.
not since January. I don't own a car, right? So
Yeah, well, January. I mean, like when we bought our first car moving here, I literally had not sat behind the wheel of a car in 10 years. Literally, no exaggeration, 10 years. Like it
Nice.
had been like
I was I've never gone a 10-year duration, but when I drove in Australia, that was very scary for me, because that was the first time I'd driven in 5 years. It was the first time I'd driven in a major city, and it was the first time driving on that side of the road.
yes.
So that was pretty intimidating the first time I had gotten in front of a wheel there.
Yeah. Well, even myself here, it's the dealership we bought the car from.
Yeah.
You pull off and you pull onto I don't know if it's kind of a highway. It's not like a freeway with
Yeah.
separated lanes, but you pull onto I guess 3 lanes in both directions, whatever you call that, a 6-lane highway. Like
Yeah.
first driving in 10 years onto a 6-lane highway, like it was crazy. Actually, that's kind of a lie. I had driven to I took my driver's I had to, like you say, I had to take my driver's test to get my driver's license. And so that had been my previous driving. my driving experience over the previous 10 years consisted exactly of me doing that test. And I think they gave me like a little prep session. And I somehow passed it. I guess muscle memory.
Well, I was supposed to. We had to take driver's tests. When we were living in California. We were there long enough that my license was going to expire, and I needed to get a new one. So I decided to take. In California, you have to take a driver's test, and I actually managed to fail it. And
And it wasn't the test you failed?
no, it wasn't the written test. It was the actual practical driving test. I had read online that it's like way easier to pass the test in San Mateo than it is in San Francisco.
Okay.
Because there's so many one-way streets and it's confusing and stuff.
I've heard it's a
But
nightmare driving there.
But at the same time, I was familiar with San Francisco and not at all familiar with San Mateo.
Okay.
So I took my test there on roads that I'd never driven on before. And I had no idea what was going on, and I ended up I forget the term for it, but I basically shifted into a lane that was like splitting.
Okay.
And I didn't stay in the lane that I was supposed to stay in. So that's an instant fail when you do that.
I see. You know what I did actually? I don't know how they do it. I think there's instant fails, but there's also like a scoring system, and if you rack up enough points, if you accumulate enough points, you fail. And I was like a point away from failing because there's a part where you have to pull over and then pull back, like pull over to the side of the street and then pull back out and drive away. And I didn't even know actually, but when you pull back out, you're supposed to signal, and I had not signaled. Yeah. So that was like, I don't know, like I had 12 points, and that alone gave me like 11 or something. It was like just put me right up to the border.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, so I instant failed mine, and then I was going to reschedule it, and then it so happened that we realized that we were gonna move back to Canada. So then I was just like, okay, whatever. I can just renew my license.
Well, I don't know if I... So I had my Nova Scotia license, and I moved to BC, Canada, and it expired a year later, and I just never renewed it. Did I tell you that? I carried an expired license around for like 3 years.
Yeah. It's kind of horrible in one sense, admitting that I failed my most recent test, and then I was still able to just get my license without having to retest.
Yeah, that is kind of scary, actually.
Because you know what, I am confident in my driving abilities. I did obviously do that one thing wrong, but. Otherwise, I would say that I'm a pretty good driver. So if I, as someone who feels like I'm a good driver, can fail that test and somehow still manage to be allowed on the road, it scares me because I know that there are a lot of people who should not be on the road, who are on the road.
Yeah, it totally terrifies me. So, Kie also had not driven in forever, and when she came to Canada, she didn't take a driver's test. I don't know how she was able to. She converted her Japanese license into a BC license.
Yeah.
And maybe Canada's just less strict, but in the States it's like...
Yeah, I think it's California in particular is kind of strict on that.
Well, Washington State allows you to port certain licenses, certain international licenses, and it's a really bizarre list. It's like South Korea and Germany and the province of British Columbia. And like one other country, like in Central Europe or something. It's just like this random list. And so I had my Nova Scotia license, and I couldn't port it. And Kia had her BC license that she'd ported from Japan, so she could port it. So she hadn't driven as long as me, and she just had a license and just port it, whatever. Right? Okay. So yeah.
It's kind of a silly process how that all works. And then if you go to the UK, you're actually not allowed to rent a standard vehicle.
Like a 5-speed?
I've never driven standard, so I honestly don't know how many speeds they have.
But like you have to manually shift. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
A standard, a manual.
So that's like the regular car that everyone uses over there. And because that's the standard vehicle that you drive over there, they're way cheaper to rent.
Hmm.
But you're not allowed to rent one of those unless you have an international license, or like unless you have evidence that you know how to drive one of those. So
Well, that's kind of. I guess that makes sense.
so I've been like considering learning specifically how to drive one of those and then like getting an international license, but it also seems like a lot of more work that I need to do for my regular everyday non-car owning life.
Yeah, I hate cars, and I can't wait to get back to not owning one. Part of actually like I'm pretty excited about my new commute because it's like maybe a 10-minute drive to the shuttle stop, but a lot of that it's just because the traffic around my house is like ridiculous considering how I'm basically in the friggin' woods.
Yeah.
And it's like a school zone and stuff, so I spend about half the time sitting waiting for a school bus or a red light to change. But anyway, like if I was to drive it in the middle of the night, I'm sure it would be like 5 minutes. Like it's really close. So it's a quick little drive, and then the rest of it is me not driving, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's still unfortunately need to own the car, which is kind of a heartbreak, money wise
Yeah.
and everything else wise. But so she goes.
Do you need to now? Like you've got 2 cars, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. We could. So if I got like Kia to drive me in the morning, I guess it would be
Or
okay.
bicycle.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a little far to bicycle.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, around here it rains like more than half the time.
Right.
I'd say. And
Right.
it's just I don't know. I've trust me. I've thought of these. I actually bought a folding bike because I was going to bike to the bus stop and then take it on the bus with me and do that. And I don't know. It's just it's far enough and raining enough and cold enough. I just could never really. I need some consistency. If I'm like creatively coming up with a new way to get to work every morning, it's
Yeah.
destabilizes my life kind of. Like if I just have this
Yeah.
consistent way that I know will work, it's great. So the rain really throws a wrench in that.
Yeah. I'm like mildly disappointed at my commute now. It's like when I was living in Vancouver and I had like a commute out to Burnaby. It was like uh, at least half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. I can't remember the exact time now, but it was a nice stretch of time that I could read or play a game or whatever. And now it's like I've got about a 10-minute ride on the bus, and it's like it's convenient, but it's
You can't
like
use the time.
disappointingly not enough time to play a video game.
I totally understand that. I actually totally understand. There's like too short a commute almost, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I found when I was in Vancouver, we lived above a train stop, and then I'd get off and get on the train, and it's like I forget how long it was, 40 minutes or so, but there was no time spent. There was no wasted time except like waiting
Yeah.
in the elevator, right? I mean, it was just like it was great, and it was long enough that you could, if you wanted to play a game, you could play a game. If you wanted to just read, like I don't tend to get absorbed in like fiction. I tend to read like articles, tech articles and stuff or whatever, right? So even just Reddit, so it was the perfect amount of time to just do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll do that now if I can't get a seat. Like if I've got to stand up, I'll just read some crap on my phone.
Right.
So yeah, I've gotten just a slight bit amount of time. I've finished up those driver's manuals, and now I'm back to playing a little bit of Suikoden too.
Yeah.
So slowly picking my way through that, and then I guess one of the perks of now that I've got less commute time is we are spending more time together at home.
Ooh, not used to that, I bet.
Yeah, and so we're finally putting our TV to use, both in the evenings. I've mentioned before that we've played a couple of games or watched a couple movies, and I've actually started trying to get my kid to watch movies with us during on weekends.
How's it going?
Pretty good. We started.
Are you watching like animations? Or are you watching like?
Yeah. Well, so for a while now, like we're trying to get dinner ready or whatever, and he's climbing all over us like a raccoon. And so we've been letting him watch Caillou or Daniel Tiger or whatnot.
Right.
So he absolutely loves that, and so we figured, and I guess one time in Vancouver I took him out to a free movie at a community center, and he was really into that. That was Finding Dory.
Yep. Yeah.
So I feel like he's able to stay still for a consecutive enough amount of time that it was time to start getting him introduced to watching movies with us, because we're pretty excited in having like movie nights and stuff pretty regularly.
Hmm.
So yeah, we've got a little library at work where I'm able to take home Blu-rays and stuff. So
That's a nice perk.
yeah, so we just gave it a shot one weekend. I took home Zootopia, and we watched that, and I got him kind of psyched up like the day before. I was like, Laz, we're going to watch a movie tomorrow. Are you ready? And he's getting all excited, and the next day we're like, okay, we're going to watch a movie, but do you want to go get a snack first? Let's go to the store and we'll get some popcorn. And he's like super excited about it, and we went off, but got some popcorn, brought it back, and he made it about at least 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Did he sleep or just lose interest?
No, he eventually just was starting to get a little bit hyper and want to stand up and walk around and stuff. But so he made it 3/4 of the way through Zootopia. And then we finished it a little bit later, and so then like from then on, like he keeps asking to watch Zootopia. so so we've gotten a few other movies in the meantime. We've watched Lego Movie. I got Finding Dory. We watched Peanuts, which I don't think any of the three of us liked Peanuts. And then
See,
we
now,
watched.
now you're stuck on kids' movies your whole life. It's a good thing you guys, or at least your wife, likes animation.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, we both do.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, it's her
and,
career choice, I guess.
Yeah. And then Wally. So that's good, and I've taken home Good Dinosaur, so we can try watching that this weekend.
Cool.
So it's a nice thing. Like he's pretty interested in it, and we make like I don't know. It's a good way for us to chew up the better part of an afternoon, because like between like going off to the store and getting a snack and getting all set up and watching it and stuff, and I don't know. It's nice. I'm looking forward to more elaborate stuff like Seven Samurai and stuff with him.
Have to maybe let him age emotionally a little bit first.
Oh yeah. He's got to be at least 3 by the time we finish that.
Handle those deep concepts, right? We had actually recently watched Finding Dory.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned it, and I think that was the first movie we watched together, like as a family or whatever. And
all 3 of you, right?
Yes, and Luca was like totally into it, totally absorbed in it, totally like zombified by it. Was like calling out things like animals she recognized, and like saying like, look, octopus, look this, look that. Watched it right to the end. Was like kind of acting like scared at the scary parts, like the I forget what it was. It's something chasing. What was it? A squid or something? They get all the main characters get chased at the start. Yeah, like that part. And then was totally cool when it was over. She fell asleep right after, which was awesome. So it was a resounding success, I think.
Nice.
We haven't watched anything since though, but we did. I'm much more of a fan of film than TV shows generally. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I just don't like the commitment that's necessary to like finish an entire TV show, I guess. But Kia likes them, so
the commitment to finish an entire 22 minutes.
Well, no, I mean like say like a Netflix series that's like 20 episodes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Although the fact they're shorter, like you can kind of, it's generally, I guess, easier to fit them into a busy life, busy lifestyle. But
wait, so have you not watched like Breaking Bad or anything like that?
I watched like the first 3 episodes of Breaking Bad maybe and get totally bored.
Wow.
We did watch House of Cards. That was amusing to me. So we watched, I think, all of that.
We didn't watch all of it. We got up until the I never know how far to talk on stuff to avoid spoilers, but anyway, I think we watched the first 3 seasons.
Okay.
And then
I know we watched all of it. I thought there only was 3 seasons.
I'm gonna look this shizzle up.
All right.
House of, and you're talking the
American one.
American one.
Yeah, the American one.
It looks like there's at least so there's 4 seasons out right now, and season 5 is coming out in May. So we watched the first 3 seasons,
Okay.
and then we moved, and then I got rid of Netflix entirely.
Couldn't stand paying the $12 a month.
Exactly.
Netflix is what keeps our kid shut up. It's what well, my wife likes it. Like, for me, it's totally worth the 12 or 14 or whatever. But I'm not the one generally watching it, so
Yeah.
Because, as I say, I'm not a TV person. But we did watch all of House of Cards. There's another show we watched, actually. Bloodline. Have you heard of it?
No.
It was okay. So apparently there's more than one season. Apparently the first season's good, the rest of it sucks, and I can totally see why. I'm gonna try and not spoil anything. Just, it felt like, I feel this of a lot of shows. It's kind of like where they have a full story that they flesh out, and it's interesting and stuff, and then it kind of concludes at the end of the season, and the story's done. But they have to keep making the show because it was popular and they can make more money. So, it's like those characters encounter something else, and here's this kind of new story, like that kind of happens a little bit. So I don't know. I would have been happy with the show being done, and they didn't need to like really continue. So we watched the first season of that, which was fun. But yeah, I don't know. Recently we've been watching 13 Reasons Why. Do you know what it is?
No.
Yeah, if you don't have Netflix, I guess. So Kia reads a lot of those like young, what do they call them? Young adult fiction, whatever, Fault in Our Stars kind of stuff.
Teen romance.
Yeah, those. I think it's one of those that's been adapted into a TV show. It's okay. It's like silly kind of, but I don't know. I guess I only bring it up because we are just kind of learning how to live without Kid again, because she's been we're working getting her to go to bed earlier again.
Yeah.
So kind of parallel to your own experience of having some together time in the evenings. That's what we've been doing. So.
Yeah. So, I guess it for you it helps that you've got like a second story to your house, right? Like, do you just make noise however you want when your kid's asleep?
Certainly not.
No.
We're pretty conscious of things. I don't know that I've woken her up from downstairs. I'm confident I could if I wanted to, but she tends to wake up, and then when she does wake up, when she wakes up, she likes to like just get up out of bed and just go running around. So like if we don't really lock the door on her, we kind of like, we have baby gates and stuff to protect her and keep her out of bad areas, but she'll like come running out of the room and come into the living room and like call us and stuff. So all the doors are open generally. Yeah. So if we like blared a movie, the sound would very easily make it into the room she's in. So I guess we could shut the door, but we generally don't. So
you just keep the volume down low.
Magic a solution. We just what? Sorry.
You just keep the volume kind of low.
Yeah, we do. Also, the way, well, it's weird. I mean, I know you live in, and I, for my whole life, or not my whole life, but for a long time, I've also lived in like kind of more condo apartment-y living. Yeah. But where we are right now, it's like, I don't know, it's very easy to hear all the neighbors.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's a detached condo is how it's termed, I guess. But maybe because it's essentially houses that are super close together, but they are separated, so people think, oh, I'm separated, I'll just act like it's my house and I'll just play loud movies.
Yeah, it's completely not the same as in Nova Scotia, where you've got like a giant yard.
Yeah, exactly right. But I mean, just our neighbors are always like blasting movies at like 12 and 1, and we're like trying to go to sleep and stuff. So I think we're kind of hyper conscious of that too.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, so we're obviously in a smaller place, and we're like paranoid about making sounds and stuff. So generally what happens is I've actually bought like this long audio cable. So
and you listen with headphones?
Yeah. Like we've got like a little audio splitter so that we can each plug a pair of headphones in.
Nice.
So It works. I'm actually quite happy with that setup because the audio is going straight into my ear, so it's, I don't know, it's nice and stereo and a decent volume, and there's zero noise getting pumped out to the rest of the apartment, so I can be playing a video game. And that's how I've been playing Persona,
Nice.
we can watch a movie together, and there's just I can enjoy it because I know I'm not making noise, and yeah, I don't know, it feels comfortable to me.
Nice. Nice. Okay, well that's awesome. I mean, I just don't really have the technology or something, I guess. We have our TV attached to the wall, and
Hmm.
it's, I don't know, kind of, it would be, I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Might be a little awkward just where, like, I don't know, Kia prefers the living room to be set up a certain way, so
Yeah.
if there's more cables dangling everywhere, she might not be too happy.
Well,
But
we don't leave the cables around when he's awake, right? Because
of course,
he could obviously strangle himself,
yeah,
which is what he would do.
yes,
Uh, but no, because we normally have a setup where we've got the. I mean, it is different where it's not wall mounted. It's on top of a TV stand, but I've got
mm,
speakers right next to the TV. So normally, I've got a little cable that connects the speakers to the TV,
right,
and then if we're gonna watch something at night, I just unplug the speakers and put in our headphone thing instead.
very cool, very cool.
I
Have you
felt
managed?
very pleased with myself when I figured out that I could do it that way. Like I stupidly in Vancouver had somewhat of a similar setup, but it was like um it was way more complicated than it needed to be. I basically would have like the PlayStation would go to the TV through HDMI, but then I would like also patch out the sound to headphones directly from the PlayStation, and then we would mute the TV. And then I eventually realized that TVs have headphone jacks on them now, so
Oh yeah,
so you can just plug it straight into there and then use your volume control on your TV.
nice. And that's what you do now.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, I don't know if your kid wakes up super easy or whatever.
I don't think he
We've never
does.
really,
If he
yeah.
wakes up, it's not related to anything we've done.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we have this. Yeah, I can't think of a time we've woken her up with the TV.
Yeah.
At least not, certainly not lately. So it's not. We haven't had to resort to that yet. Then again, we do. I mean, be very careful, right? We tend to. Do you find like all TV shows? It seems have like either everyone speaks really loud and the music is a normal volume, or you can't hear what anyone's saying and the music is like. Let me. Did I get that backwards? If you can hear everyone, the music's too loud. So everyone's speaking normal
Yeah.
volume
Yeah.
and the music's blaring, or music is a normal volume, but
Yeah.
then you can't hear anyone. I find like so many shows like that. So I'm constantly adjusting the sound back and forth to avoid waking the kid up. That's one thing I have experienced.
Yeah. That's when the audio people are designing the stuff. They're generally doing it under the assumption that you have a good sound setup.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have a good sound setup, yeah, you're constantly battling that. Um, I don't know. I'm happy with our speaker setup, so we've never really had any problems. And even with the headphones, we never really have a problem with that either. But
Nice.
yeah, I remember if I ever used the TV speaker itself, it was constantly like that.
Nice.
And it was
Yeah.
definitely shitty like that on like watching cable too. Like they always crank up advertisements.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I haven't watched cable in years.
Yeah.
Maybe I will have to invest in a better setup as the family expands
Yeah, well,
and the
uh,
situation changes.
the setup that we got is actually pretty affordable. I
Hmm.
don't remember the exact brands of what I got, but I basically just got a little 15-watt preamp, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, and then from that, you just plug into some bookshelf speakers that I got, and I like went on to audiophile websites and was like researching the best stuff to get for low prices. So I'm pretty sure the amp I got was something like $40, and then the speakers were $100,
Okay.
and they're back when I lived in Toronto, we had like surround sound speakers and a big stereo system and stuff, and that must have cost me like $300-400, and it doesn't sound as good as this setup does.
Nice.
So
You'll have to hook me up after.
yeah, I honestly have no idea what they were. I've actually searched in the past through my emails to see if I could find out what they were in case I ever need to replace them, and I must have deleted all records of buying it.
The brand is not on it?
No, it's not. It's like this small little no-name brand audiophile thing that like they made a good product, but they didn't waste money by putting their own brand name on it.
I see. Huh. Cool.
So I did end up seeing what was it? Your Name on the weekend.
You like it?
Yeah. I think even with what little I knew of it, I let myself get overhyped.
Okay.
Just because I'd read like on Kotaku how amazing it was and stuff, and
that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it
You have
takes.
that in
Is
the back of
like
your mind
once you've got
forever,
that in the back of your mind that it's going to be amazing, you can't help but like get psyched and then end up being a little bit disappointed. So I don't know.
Well,
it was a
yeah.
solid movie, and I would recommend it. I did enjoy it, but man, I wish I could completely just avoid hyping myself up for stuff.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard, actually. I feel like I was thinking about this one time. You're going to be like, no way, shut up. But like, I feel like if I was like, maybe I was sick one day from work and, no one was around. I was just in bed and just bored out of my mind. And I turned on the TV and I was flicking the channels and I hit some movie I'd never heard of before and never cared and just was like, okay, and just kind of watched it. And if that movie was The Phantom Menace, you've never heard of this? It's not Star Wars to you. It's just some movie. It's just on TV.
I'm not listening to you anymore.
I'm not saying it's great.
I don't want to know where this sentence is going.
Well, in the same way that you watch like maybe Buck Rogers, like it's popcorn ridiculousness.
Yeah.
But imagine
Flash
like a
Gordon.
really annoying kid and stuff. But you'd at least go and be like, hey, I saw this movie. The effects were good. You wouldn't. I'm just saying, like, with no expectations at all and no, childhood to ruin kind of things.
Yeah.
The movie is bad instead of like obnoxiously horrible.
Yeah.
And I think hype has obviously a big part of that.
You'd be like, I saw this sci-fi movie that like had some kind of good potential, but there was this really bad child actor and this really bad animated sidekick that was just like.
Okay, you're bringing. Stop it! I got it. I was just thinking of the lightsaber fight, and maybe that's all I was thinking of. Actually, the costumes. I don't know. The fact the kid blows up the base at the end was a nice touch. I'm not serious.
No, yeah. I still haven't seen the Rogue One.
No.
I
didn't see episode 3 for like a year after it came out.
I remember seeing that one in the theater.
That's the only one I didn't see in the theater. Someone was like, trust me, it's not that bad. It's like, it redeems the prequels. And I was like, all right, let's watch it.
I hadn't seen episode 1, and then you and all the other high school gang wanted to see episode 2 in the theater. And then I ended up seeing episode 1. And then when episode 3 came out, I was like, well, I've seen everything else. I may as well see this one. And now they just keep making movie after movie. And it's like, I guess I'll see these two.
It's not like you missed your chance. It's like, here's way more chances, like on a yearly basis now. Yeah.
Although now I have a kid that it's very rare that I'll even get to a theater.
Yeah,
but
I can't remember the last time I was at a theater. Yeah, that's a lie. It was Rogue One. it was a work event actually. Yes, that's why I went.
Nice conclusion to the story.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Nice
indeed. I'm running out of time. I think I should go help my sick family. I know that makes this. It's a little bit of a short episode, but we've been getting longer and longer.
Yeah. When our target's half an hour anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time,
Well,
Make
wow.
sure you see some movies. It's not
I
all
plan
about
to.
video games.
Yep, and I'm on the second half of Hotel Dusk. So I realized coming into this conversation, I was thinking, man, I played a lot of video games. Like, this is great. But really, I just played like 12 hours of Hotel Dusk. So, I mean, for me, it was like awesome game time, but there's just not a lot to, it's not like I played this and I beat this. So, yeah, I hopefully will have beaten that game I'm aiming for end of next week anyway.
Nice. Well, next time we
Yes.
catch up, I'll let you know how both Good Dinosaur and Birdman are.
All right. Sweet. Looking forward to it.
Later.
All right. Cheers, mate.